Hi everyone, welcome to After Class,
a podcast by two passionate adult ballerinas about all things adult ballet related.
and some random thoughts in between.
We're so glad you're here.
So grab your water bottle
Or a cup of coffee.
and join us for a quick chat after class.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of After Class. Today we are going to be talking about something that is maybe a little bit controversial, but we feel is a very important conversation, and that is the importance of prioritizing artistry in your dancing. So we're going to be talking about the importance of responding to the music and conveying genuine emotion in your dancing, and we believe that that's more important than things like doing tricks, hyperextension, gymnastic type movement, etc. So we are going to jump right into it. Hello, Yelena.
Hello, Hannah. And I presume that everyone will already know that we love these kind of topics. This is going to be, I think, a very interesting topic, especially for our followers, adult dancers. Finally realizing that, it's good to have some level of technique at our age, definitely, and finding your goals and establishing a vision for you to go to. But what about if we forget a little bit about the technique and we actually start increasing our artistry? That would be the best way to enjoy not only your dancing, but enjoying the videos that you're watching of someone else dancing.
I totally agree. I think maybe it's partially with social media. I know we talked about social media recently on the podcast, and I think we even alluded to this being one of the pitfalls is that a lot of times on social media, the things that are getting posted and going viral are the very extreme moments, within a performance or within the competition environment where it's a lot of hyperextension, doing 15 pirouettes and trick type movement, and not as much of the artistry component. So I think one of the things that really highlights this is when you compare dancers from 30, 40, 50 years ago.
Definitely. So if we look at, I don't know, Margot Fontaine or Baryshnikov, they are timeless ballet dancers. And those are two names to mention. Like, I'm obviously going to talk about Alicia Alonso. She used to be great balance, lovely legs, those points. But when we look at their extensions, like Fontaine and Alicia, their extensions were like 180 or 360 or like nothing crazy like that. But they had crazy balance. They had lovely arms interpretation. And that it's enough for me. I just need to look at Fontaine. I think that the video that we were watching earlier, Hannah, where Fontaine is dancing with Nureyev, they're doing the Swan Lake variation.
Mhm.
Oh my God, there is just if everyone is going to watch this video, we're going to post on the description just on 30 seconds of starting that video. She stops in a corner doing a chassé with arms in front, and those wings, oh my God.
Yeah.
And we are kind of losing that a little bit. We see it really well on professional dancers, the ones that are a little bit older, like on their 30s and 40s, because they understood what happens. The body doesn't get better with age, but actually the artistry does. So we can see those professional dancers that maintain their technique, which is really hard at that age, but the arms, the artistry, the dancing, it gets better and better with age because I think they understand that that's what actually counts in ballet.
I agree. And that the video that you're talking about that we'll post, as you said in the description, it's funny because in watching it, you guys will see this if you watch it too, she does pirouettes in the video and her passe is crossed below the knee and it's very over crossed. And, there are things that we would look at now and think it's maybe not the best technique or placement, or it's not so crisp and clean, which I think we're really used to seeing now. But like you were saying, you look at her arms and you look at her face and the way she's just emoting is so beautiful. And that's really what made her such an incredible and memorable dancer. I think people, when they go see ballet or even just in class, when you're watching maybe someone in your class who really is captivating to watch, it's usually not because they're doing some crazy impressive trick. It's because they're conveying that genuine emotion that's really drawing you in and that's really beautiful. And so I think it's for adults, this is such a important conversation because so much of the ballet world, especially the younger ballet world, I think is getting very dominated by the insane technique, the amount of turns, the hypermobility, the crazy flexibility, which is great, but I think there's definitely things that can be lost in that. And I think that those things can start to feel like they're the most important things when really I don't think that those are the most important things in ballet. And I know you don't either.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you that quantity, it's not the goal.
Hi, friends. Just wanted to remind you that thebusybunhead.com is now live, so make sure you head over and check that out. It is a hub for all things adult ballet. Right now, we have published a list of all the adult ballet intensives happening in 2025, so make sure you go check out the website and find your next adult ballet intensive.
I understand also that as we as human beings evolve, like everything, our language evolves, our technology, also the arts kind of have to. At some point, we needed not new tricks, but if we are getting more flexible, having more time to train, we have more resources to actually find that perfect training for that individual and a personalized feedback. Obviously, we have more opportunities to improve, to grow as a dancers. And I understand that having higher legs, it's a great quality because trust me, I can't say that I don't love it. I do love when I see a developer as a gone really high with pointed toes, hip down rotation, and yeah, so with good technique. I love it, but there is nothing worse, at least for me, as a ballet spectator or as a ballet teacher, having someone in front of me doing développé to the side and the face is dead.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
hard.
it comes from the inside out, and I think that that's really what separates the really memorable, incredible dancers that move people from the dancers that are, maybe great and very talented, but you see them and you don't really feel much. And I think that that's why we wanted to have the conversation, especially for both of us being in our mid 30s. And I mean, a lot of our audience members are also in that age range, even a little bit older, because I think a lot of times with ballet becoming so technical and so heavy on the amount of turns and the extensions and the hyperextension and all these things that it can make adult dancers feel like they could never be a, quote unquote real dancer because they can't do all these things. And even though all those things are
Exactly.
amazing and they're worth celebrating, like I think I agree with you. It's like not wanting the point that comes across to be, oh, none of that matters. Like it is beautiful and I respect people that reach that level and achieve that, but I think the danger is when it makes people feel like they can't be a real dancer if they can't do those things, because the best parts of dance are the parts that are about connecting to music and conveying genuine emotion and making people feel. And those things you can do at any age. And so I think it's so important to have artistry as a really high value just in the dance world in general and not let it kind of start dropping down the list of
Yeah.
importance, because once that's lost, it's like dance no longer has a soul without
Yeah, it's not an
artistry.
art form anymore. Yeah, it's more, it becomes then the sport that we're trying to debate and trying to defend. Like when they call us athletes, we actually are athletes. The only difference is we have that extra acting side of the sport, right? We do have the art part where we express emotions. And something that I love about artistry is if you were to have a physical limitation or you were to have a little bit of technical limitation, artistry doesn't have that. You can get older, you had a little bit of an injury, and you can't sustain the arabesque anymore, but you can still have that long lines coming from your soul with your arms, with your artistry. How many dancers have I? Like I had a group before where we were teaching on chairs. We were teaching to dance on chairs. And it's like obviously a 60 plus class. Everyone was on the chairs and we were doing ballet there. And what was the main focus? Artistry, dancing through your arms and moving your shoulders, moving your chest. And that's something that I would love for everyone to really interiorize is artistry doesn't have age limit. It doesn't have a physical or that limitation that we could find technically as well. It's just artistry. It's dancing, enjoying and connecting and being present
Yeah.
within whatever you're doing within your ballet classes.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's like if anything, your artistry only has the capacity to get better as you age because of life experience, because of, the things that you bring to the table. Like there's an emotional depth, I think, that you can bring to your dancing as you get older. Whereas, like you said, your body, maybe the limitations are increasing, but with artistry, if anything, your capacity is only getting greater. It's like I think about when I was a kid and I would hear a piece of classical music. I mean, I always liked classical music as a kid and thought it was beautiful, but it's like now I can hear a piece of classical music and it'll like move me to the point of tears because I think as an adult, you just have this different capacity for connecting to music and a depth of emotion that you don't normally have as a child. And so, yeah, I think that that's a really encouraging thing for adults to focus on. And it's definitely something like I'm even trying to focus on this year because, like, I feel like I have that struggle that you're talking about of my face isn't conveying when I'm dancing because I focus so much on perfection and placement and technique and all these things that I am so guilty of losing the artistry when I dance and looking like half the time it's funny, I'll watch playbacks of our classes or if I'm just recording myself practicing and I'm like, why do I look so miserable when I'm dancing? When I'm so happy to be dancing. I was talking to my in-person teacher about this, and it's like in my heart, I am so happy to be dancing, and on my face, I look like I'm being tortured. It's like
Trying, looking like, take me away from here.
I'm like, I need to work on artistry too, in the sense that like I want the emotions that I'm experiencing on the inside when I dance to actually be conveyed through my face and my eyes and all these, nuances. I want that to come through, but it's hard. So maybe the next part we could talk about is just how to practically develop and improve your artistry as an adult dancer so that you are really able to tap into that aspect of dance that's so fulfilling.
So I will say there is so many different easy ways to develop that artistry if you feel like it's not coming natural to you and you don't have that super hyper expression of coming out of you. I think one is first to start watching more professional dancers. I think that would be number one. Watching lots of ballets and dances, and it's not just ballet. You can just watch opera, like everyone singing and their arms and their expressions, and they're gliding through the stage. So it's finding different visual ways to improve that artistry. I would say that play music. Don't just play the classical ballet music from your class, from your group classes or in-person classes. Find a music that connects with you and dance to that music. Do the ballet class, even if it's a salsa. Why not? Do it. If you connect with that, find how to connect that to your port de bras exercise of your ballet class. Practice together and see if that helps to get out of you that soul.
Yeah, it's so good because, yeah, I do think sometimes the right piece of music can really make unlocking it so much easier. And I think once you start unlocking it, it tends to flow more and more and more the more it's almost like a muscle that you have to exercise to allow yourself
Oh,
to
yeah, definitely.
feel in that way and allow yourself to express. Because the thing is, adults too, this is one of the things that I've been processing even in my own goal for improving artistry is like what holds me back. And I think for adults, a lot of it is this fear of looking silly
Yeah,
because the
definitely.
as adults, it's like we just have this hard wiring to never want to look dumb. It's like, I don't know when this kicks in because as kids, it's like we'll pretend, we'll make believe, and we'll do all these things without feeling afraid of looking silly. And then it's like at some point, it just kind of kicks in that we no longer want to be vulnerable in that way.
At this point, you're already dressed on thighs, leotard, skirts, and ballet shoes. So you are already a little bit beyond thinking, I don't want to look silly. You're already looking silly and you're loving and you're enjoying it. So just keep going with the flow. At this point, it's too late to go back.
I mean, honestly, like, I think that is a really helpful way. Like, I'm probably going to start saying that to myself. You got the tights and the leotard on, like, you're already committed. Just
You're already there. Like it doesn't get more silly than that. You're already in your pink tights. It's not like you are just there like, oh, I'm gonna see how this goes. No, at this point everyone is committed, and by this, too late to feel silly.
You're committed at this
Just
point.
go for it.
So true. It's like you've already gone through the vulnerability of putting tights and a leotard on. Everything else at this point is, just you might as well. But I think it's a very real barrier for adults to artistry is just the fear of feeling silly. And
Yeah.
I think you have to kind of just work through that and get to the point where you allow yourself to push beyond it.
Yeah,
Like my
so
in-person
much
teacher
true.
is always really pushing for that of you guys have got to start giving some emotion, because it can be perfectly placed, but if the emotion isn't there, it's like we were saying earlier, it's just kind of void of anything that's really going to make someone watching you feel anything. And that's the goal of dance.
Yeah. I think it's more being afraid of actually being able to show those feelings, to show that. I think it's more that being afraid of actually getting the dance and letting go. And as soon as you're like, oh, I'm actually doing a lovely arabesque. Oops, I'm doing a lovely arabesque. Oh my God, oh my God, I'm really doing this. So I think it's that.
Yeah, we can almost be afraid of our own like expansiveness and taking up space and like really being there in the room. Like that can kind of scare us a little bit, I think, sometimes. And yeah, it's just one of those things that's like, I don't know if there's any quick fixes to getting over. I think you kind of just have to push through it and make yourself and risk feeling silly and just kind of go for it to kind of get to the other side.
I think before we finish this episode, there are two things that we kind of have realized out of this podcast. And one is how artistry evolved with age. Basically, artistry can deepen over time, even if the physical ability changes, right? So, as many adults think, oh, I missed the boat. It's too late to be a ballet dancer at this point. But yet, we haven't proven time over time that that's not true, that it's never too late as an adult to start dancing. The artistic part of it, it's timeless. You can still catch up to that 100%. So I think that is very important that us as an adult remember that we think that we missed the boat, but the part of the artistry is timeless. We can catch up for sure to that one.
Yeah, and I think the second one is there tends to be that myth that tricks, which I guess would kind of encapsulate all the things we were talking about early in the episode of like 10 pirouettes, crazy flexibility, hyperextension, all those things are the equivalent of talent. And
Yeah.
sure, those things do require hard work to be able to achieve, and they can be really beautiful to watch, but you can also be a really talented and beautiful dancer with a single beautiful pirouette or a really beautiful port de bras or a low arabesque. You can be a very talented dancer and someone that people love to watch because of the artistry component, which doesn't require all of the physical stuff and all the tricks and all those things. So not equating tricks to talent or these extremes in physical ability to being a good dancer, because those two things are not inextricably linked. Like you can not have nearly the same physical facility that a 14-year-old who just won YAGP does and still be a beautiful and talented dancer. And I think that's why we're both so passionate about this conversation.
Oh, definitely. And it's very important to remember by going back to the first point and pointing out the older dancers that we've been following and all these timeless dancers that we love watching. Why do we love watching them? Because their artistry is definitely outlasting all the trends, and we are still appreciating them and loving them. So that tells lots.
It does. Yeah. So we'll link definitely that one video, but probably maybe some more videos too that are dancers from history that really show this idea of what we're talking about. If it's not the same extremes in physicality that we see now, but the timelessness of the artistry is really there. So we'll link some video examples of that. I love old videos of dance. It's like they just leave their heart on the stage and it's so fun to watch. So it'll be fun to dig through and find some video examples for you guys.
That would be lovely. Thank you so much, everyone,
Thank you guys so much for listening and continuing to hang out with us every week. And we will catch you next week in the next episode.
Thank you for listening to After Class.
Join the community on YouTube and Instagram, or come dance with us, our weekly Zoom classes for adult ballerinas like you.
Links included in the episode description. Special thank you to our sponsors.
See you next time after class. Podcast produced by Mission Bridge Media.